Hello. Okay, so the old video did not seem to work, so we're going to try this again, fingers crossed. We're going to be reading about a dinosaur named Sue, and I have made a PowerPoint about the dinosaur named Sue that you guys are going to see in Google Docs, and you're going to do some worksheets. So we're going to go over that first, and then I'll read the story to you. You're going to want to watch this both on Monday and on Tuesday before you take your quiz. So you should be able to see my screen. It's called A Dinosaur Named Sue. I'm going to show you at the end of our reading what you need to do. So at the end, you need to do the nonfiction, the who was it about? What happened? Where did it happen? When did it happen? How did it happen? And why? The other sheet that you're going to need to be able to do after we read this is 3 things that you learned, type them here, 2 facts that you read. So basically another something that you learned, facts, but they're things that are true. And then 1 question that you have, okay? Are you guys ready? Here we go. A dinosaur named Sue, a journal about my summer dig. So this is a journal. This is about somebody's actual life, something that actually happened. It's by Terry Patterson. So the first entry reads, August 9th, 1990. Tomorrow is the last day of the dig. I can't believe I've been in South Dakota for 10 weeks. It's been a long, hot summer. So when we talk about South Dakota, here we are in California. South Dakota is in the Midwest. This is where she is right now. We dug up many dinosaur bones. Some are more than 60 million years old. I'll have a lot to tell everyone back at school. So here's where they were. Badlands National Park in South Dakota is where they were digging. August 12th, 1990. So if you guys realize we're in 2020, this is a long time ago. So this is 30 years ago. Long time. Almost as old as Miss Carney. What a day. Our truck had a low tire. Pete Larson and I went into town to get it fixed. Sue Hendrickson stayed behind. She wanted to look for bones in one more place before we go home. Sue was so excited when she came back to camp. She found some huge bones sticking out of a cliff. They were too big to be anything but a dinosaur. Sue knew they were from a meat eater. In this part of the world, it could only be a T-Rex. All right, next slide. Sue brought back 2 pieces of bone to show Pete. He agreed that they were T-Rex bones. We left right away to see where they came from. When we got there, we couldn't believe our eyes. The ground below the cliff was covered with pieces of bone. More than 10 bones stuck out of the cliff. Pete thought that a whole skeleton might be buried there. He named the dinosaur Sue after the person who found it, Sue Hendrickson, right? We only have one problem right now. The bones are under almost 30 feet of dirt and rock. It's going to take a lot of hard work to remove it. Pete, Sue, and I have a big job ahead of us. I guess we are not going home yet. So here, Sue found these bones sticking out of the cliff, and they have to be very careful about how they take the bones out so they don't break them. August 14th, 1990. Early this morning, we got started digging up the T-Rex. We couldn't use a big machine to move the rock and dirt. A machine might break or crush the fossils. So we did all the work by hand. Metal bars helped us pull away large rocks. We used picks to break up smaller rocks and shovels to move dirt. The sun beat down on us all day, but we hardly noticed. We just kept thinking about the T-Rex. We wondered how much of its skeleton we would find. We hoped it would be in good shape. So here is a picture of Sue using tools to carefully remove rocks and dirt from the fossils. So you guys, it took a long time. They couldn't just pull the bones because they would break. They had to be very careful. August 18th, 1990. Our hard work over the past few days finally paid off. Today we got down to the fossils. Then we had to be even more careful. We used small hand tools to remove the dirt and rock around the bones. August 21st, 1990. While we worked, Pete told us about other T-Rex fossils that people have found. Some finds were just a few bones. No known T-Rexes has even half their bones, but it looks as though Sue found almost a whole skeleton. This is an important discovery. That, you guys, is because nobody had ever found all the T-Rex skeleton bones or fossils before, only just pieces. It will help scientists learn so much about T-Rex. The skeleton will also make an amazing museum display. So remember, a display is something that you can look at. So here is a picture of digging out bones. Is a hard job, showing that they're actually working really hard, and it takes a long time. August 23rd, 1990. Pete dug out the skull today. It's almost 5 feet long. He thinks that this T-Rex was a giant. You guys, 5 feet, their skull, the head. 5 feet long is about almost as tall as me. I'm 5 foot 4 inches. So that's as big as me, tall, is how big the skull was. These bones are in great shape too. Most fossil bones are chipped, broken, or crushed. We took pictures as we worked. It's important to record the positions where the bones are laying, you guys, of the bones. That information will help scientists who study these fossils later. We also found fossils of plants and other dinosaurs. These finds will help us learn more about life long ago. So here, Pete removed rocks and dirt from Sue's skull. There's a picture of Sue's skull, and you can see it better once you open these on the document, okay, you guys? August 29th, 1990. As we dug up bones today, we left some rock around them. The rock will protect the bones on their way to the lab. When they get there, we'll remove the rock. Weak bones get special care. They get a thin coat of glue and layers of tinfoil. Then we wrap them in plaster casts. Sometimes we add pieces of wood for extra strength. So here, a plaster cast helps protect the bone during the trip to the lab. So the reason is because the bones would break. They're not like our bones in our arms. They're very fragile. Fossils are very, very fragile because they're millions of years old. So they leave part of the rock on there to transport them in the car or the van or the truck to where the scientists are going to observe them, to look at them in the lab. September 1st, 1990. We left the dig today. It took 17 days. 17 days, you guys. That's almost a little over 2 weeks to dig Sue out of the ground. All the bones are finally on their way to the lab. It'll take a long time to clean up the skeleton. My summer was longer and more amazing than I expected. I'm sad it is over, but I'll be happy to sleep in a real bed again. So look at this entry, 1990. The next entry is 2000, 10 years later, you guys. May 17th, 2000. This journal has been in a box for almost 10 years, since my summer with the 2 Sues. I pulled it out tonight to add one last entry. I saw both Sues again today. The T-Rex is now on display in Chicago. Pete, Sue, and I are happy that Sue has a place of honor. Scientists can keep studying the bones, and people from around the world can visit the largest and most complete T-Rex ever found. So here is a picture of the museum in the Hall of Dinosaurs where Sue is. And Sue is 40.5 feet long, and experts think that this dino might have weighed 15,000 pounds because the bones alone weigh 3,922 pounds. So on the last page, you guys, I have a video. It's only about 5 minutes long, so I'm going to let you guys watch it, and I'll be back when it's done.
Sue was discovered in the summer of 1990 in western South Dakota She was found in a package of rocks that we refer to as the Hell Creek Formation. We think the Hell Creek Formation was about 66, 67, the part that Sue was in a million years ago or so.
Sue the Tyrannosaurus Rex, named after Sue Hendrickson, the paleontologist who found her, may not necessarily even be a she, but her discovery was like waking a sleeping giant.
At the time, T-Rex was a really rare animal. Carnivores are generally rarer than their prey items.
But even more rare was Sue's size. At 42 feet long, she's estimated to have weighed between 18 and 20,000 pounds.
Her skeleton right now weighs about 3,500 pounds. The skull alone, skull and jaws, weigh about 600 pounds.
Sue was also the most complete Tyrannosaurus Rex fossil ever found, having almost 90% of her skeleton.
She is not only the most complete T-Rex known, but she is the biggest T-Rex known. That may be related to the fact that she's the oldest T-Rex known.
But it would be a while before the public would get a good look at Sue. In 1992, while Sue was being prepared to be displayed by the team who found her, the FBI showed up and seized Sue's bones. A legal fight over the land where Sue was found followed. For the next 18 months, Sue languished until the court awarded ownership to the landowner, who then sold her to an auction house. In October 1997, Sue went up for auction.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sotheby's. We have for auction today the fossil of a Tyrannosaurus Rex known as Sue. And I begin with a bid of $500,000. Now bidding at $500,000. I'm bidding at $500,000, $600,000, $700,000. Now it's bidding at $1 million. At $1 million. Now bidding at $1 million. Now $5 million in circa 5.175. $7,600,000. $7,600,000. Fair warning then at $7,600,000. Up here. $7,600,000.
The Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago outbid everyone, and Sue would be put on display for all the world to see.
We won the auction at $7.6 million. So now we've bought Sue, and reality sinks in. Be careful what you wish for.
There was a lot to do before Sue's May 17th, 2000 debut.
The first thing to be done was to pack her up and move her to Chicago. She was in New York. My preparation folks, we had a big job ahead of us to take all the rock off of Sue.
They built exhibit labs so people could see just how labor-intensive it was to take the rock off such a huge fossil. The next step was preparing.
Preparing really is simple concept. When you collect a big bone, you collect a lot of rock around that bone to help hold the bone together. And so when you get it back to the museum, you have to open up the field jacket, take that plaster jacket off, and then remove the rock from the bone so that it can be seen and studied.
The last step before Sue's unveiling was mounting her skeleton.
And these are real bones. We mounted the real skeleton of Sue. So it's done in such a fashion that it can be taken back apart. It's sort of like an erector set.
Finally, 7 years after being unearthed, Sue made her worldwide debut.
Get ready to welcome Chicago's T-Rex. This is Sue. It's just incredible.
As one of the people who knows her best, Simpson says Sue's significance to research, exhibition, and education cannot be discounted.
Every day there are spectacular fossils being found, but Sue is sort of an unusual combination of what's arguably the most popular dinosaur, T-Rex, the biggest, most complete example of that, and sort of a notorious history preceding her arrival here at Field Museum. I think that's going to be a tough thing to beat. Sue has become an icon of Field Museum. And more than that, I think Sue's become an icon of Chicago.
Wow. So you guys, that was pretty crazy, huh? $7 million somebody bought Sue's, not somebody, but the people in Chicago, Illinois bought Sue's fossil in order to keep her at their museum. So remember that you're gonna open up this document in the Google Classroom and you can rewatch this video and look at all of these items, but you're gonna wanna do, remember, the nonfiction, the who, what, when, where, why, and how, and then the 3, 2, 1, 3 things you learned, 2 facts you read, and 1 question you have, okay? I'm gonna stop sharing. Pretty awesome stuff, right? All right, you guys, I will see you on Wednesday, all of you, I hope, for our timeline activity, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.